These first few clips were supposed to be in the beginning of part 1, but I had misplaced them and didn't know where they were, so here they are in the beginning of part 2. That's the top side. 2 reasons I can remember: the speedometer's up there, which is this, and the shifter thing for your high and low range. Now this lineup pin, I hope you can hear me over that fan, but it is pretty hot and sweaty in here tonight. This lineup pin is not supposed to be in here. It's supposed to be in the transmission case. It got stuck here. I'm going to press that out of there with a ball joint press, I guess. I gotta clean this up. I got that cleaned up. This is that taper that Vince was talking about on the other video. That this part here is machined a little bit bigger. Where am I? Sorry about that. Machined a little bit bigger here, and that stays in the main gearbox housing. And this end here is a little bit smaller, just what you line the auxiliary box up on. But I'm going to clean out that hole a little bit with a round file. Just the rust. I'm not cutting any metal off, just the rust. I'll do the other side that way too. I just popped the cap off on the other side. I'm going to pop this one off. And I found something in there that I didn't know I was going to find. I don't know what the right name for this is, but the only thing I can see that it does is that it would be a bearing race, like retainer or limiter or something, because the bearing race is right here. That's the bearing race, this outer edge here, and this is the bearing here. Now the weight of this whole box is sitting on these, and so they're not hanging down like they would be. This is a time when I could put those little retainer bars on there, but I got to find out where I put them. Now Vince at the transmission shop loaned me these. And these are the tool from the dealer or the manufacturer or whatever, but you can use anything, any block of metal you can put on there, and put it on there like so. I'm going to put them on sideways like this because I'm going to have a piece of metal bolted on here underneath. Now let me see if these are the right thread, 3/8/16, but I don't know if they're long enough. I may have to get longer. Yeah, these are too short. They're about 1 inch long. I'm going to go see if I can find something about 1.5 inches long. I don't know how deep those holes are threaded. May have to put washers on this. But he said you don't have to really center them, that they will self-center. Now you gotta do the other side. I'm going to take this one back off and put this race retainer back in there, or this race stop, or whatever. I don't know what they call it, but it's like a spacer between the race and the cap, the cover. I'm going to show you what happens when you don't put those retainer bars back there. I took it back off of this side, and this one's still on. Does not move at all, because it's got a tapered roller bearing just like this one, where it's smaller out here than it is back here, and it's pulled into that tapered race. This one is not. I took the race off. I took that retainer off. Huge difference. And what Vince told me is that if you don't tighten those up like that, and both of them are hanging loose like that, it will go in out of time, and it will go together. It'll just jam up when you tighten the bolts down around this housing. It'll jam up, but you won't have that problem if you put those retainers on there and suck these in tight. See, that goes in and out. And you'll be out of time if you don't put those on and jam up your gears. I just went under the truck to see where level was on this box, because it does not have a flat bottom or a flat top, and I found level to be this, where the pin goes, the dowel pin, and approximately halfway between these two bolt holes over here. That's level. So I'm going to loosen these up. This one is pretty close. I'm going to loosen this one up to where these are, and adjust it to where these are both level. Excuse me. As just a guide. So that I have a little something to go by when I cut my pieces to put them on here, because I want that level on the bottom. This is just me doing things the way I think I want to do it. I don't think there's any rules to it. I get these two bars parallel with each other. and that'll be a guide for me to go off of, because this is not going to be flat across the bottom, it's going to be off level. This is flat on the metal, but it's not level. It's going to be more like that. So this did have silicone glue on it. He says he uses gray silicone, and I says, well, I've got the blue Ultra. He says, well, that's fine. He says you can use that. He just uses the gray. It's just what he's been using, and that's what this one had on it. So it'd probably look more professional if I got the gray, but it's the same quality of glue. I use Permatex Ultra. I'm sure you'll see me putting that on when I put those on, because that will be one of the later things I do, is putting those caps back on afterwards, after we're done. So I'll clean it with a little brake cleaner so that the silicone will stick to it good, and of course we'll wash those caps off. Well, it is getting late, 9:30 at night. I don't know if I'm going to do any more tonight or not. I've got everything back together on this transmission. Drive shaft is back on. The only thing that's not done is I did not tighten up these carrier bearings yet. I got to do that, but I'm still I got to put the differential back together too. That stuff sitting on the bench, it's all here. But I'm gonna, in order to finish up this video on installing this gearbox, got this big wrench here, 1 1/4. I think is what size I need, and it's going to be this one on the side here. This is the one I used to drain it out. There's another one here. I did not check inside of that one, but I'm not going to, because we really didn't have an issue inside the transmission. But I'm going to break this bolt loose, and that'll be my fill plug, and then we're going to put a new tool to use that I got. Let's see what happens with it after I get this off of there. This is a new tool I'm going to try out. I just bought it, and I've already forgot what I paid for it, but I will put a link up in the description. Anyways, Motive Products, and it's a power-filled fluid transfer pump. So I don't know if this is probably a 2-gallon or a 1. I don't know how much. That should hold 2 gallons inside that, but I don't know how much other space is needed in there. Anyway, I read the directions, and the only thing of importance in it was that if you're going to use shop air to fill it up, don't go over 30 pounds. It's got an air gauge on it, and it's got a pump on it, a hand pump. So this is the oil that came out of the transmission. Got an air hose here. I can plug a little air into that, and let's see what it does. Got to be careful we don't go over 30 pounds. There's 25 pounds. That's probably the best way to do that. And then go ahead and open this valve up here. Let the oil run in there. Well, I'm going to keep on doing that and just go ahead and fill up this transmission like that. Just keep adding air to it. Got everything I could get out of there in the transmission, and I poured, as you can see, about a couple inches fresh oil in there. I'm about half an inch low up here, which is probably not a problem, but I don't know how much of it has made its way back into this transmission, this gearbox here. So I'm kind of letting it settle and work its way into that, but it is jacked up, well, pretty high in the front. The wheels are